We just went from there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the press, good evening. The Deputy President will read a short statement and will gladly field a few of the questions that you have for him. Your Excellency, Mr. Deputy President.
You can imagine that I am very happy to be home. It is, my dear fellow Kenyans, I have been away for the last 1 week at The Hague in the Netherlands in connection with a case I am defending at the ICC. I learned of the terrorist attack at the West Gate last Saturday with great shock and sadness. It being a weekend, I could not travel at once without the permission of the ICC's trial chamber, and it was deeply frustrating to be so far away at a time when my countrymen and women were being tormented by criminals. Even so, I remained in constant touch with His Excellency the President, who assured me and also received regular updates from the responsible state agencies. At the earliest opportunity, I requested and was allowed to leave The Hague briefly in order to be home at this time. I feel much better being here than sitting away at a time like this in our country. Kenya is the only home that I know, and my first responsibility will always be to Kenya and its people. I have been encouraged by Kenya's magnificent response to the attack, our President's fortitude in withstanding deep personal grief while leading the nation in taking charge of the situation has been exemplary and humbling. We have been assaulted by hateful, unthinking cowards whose depravity motivates them to seek gratification in killing and maiming innocent, harmless people. Their moral deformity is monstrous and appalling. Their commitment to evil has robbed their hearts of the merest suggestion of human consideration. That does not mean that they are impregnable. As we have just demonstrated, terrorism can and must be fought mercilessly and defeated wherever it occurs. I join our President and the Kenyan nation to mourn those who perished in the mayhem and to comfort the bereaved and the injured. Poleni sana. I also associate myself with the President's appreciation of all the selfless and commendable demonstrations of generosity, empathy, and goodwill. You have helped a lot to relieve the suffering and the grief of affected families and demonstrated to our enemies how indomitable the Kenyan spirit is. There have been hundreds of thousands of donors, volunteers, good Samaritans, who responded unbidden and without any hesitation whatsoever to the suffering of their brothers and sisters. You never asked the name of the affected, where in this country or the world they come from, or whether they were ever related to you. It was enough that they are human and that they needed you. And you gave without thought of your own interest and without expecting any reward. That is the finest demonstration of your innate nobility and integrity that anyone can require of you. Our officers from the Kenya Defense Forces and the police services, as usual, continued to serve selflessly and make painful sacrifices on our behalf. I have been deeply touched to learn that you have lost colleagues while confronting terrorists. I join the President and the nation in expressing our appreciation for your service. I'm also aware that hospitals treating the injured turned away hundreds of people when their capacity was overwhelmed with blood donations. Today, the Kenya Red Cross stopped its drive because they were no longer able to receive the donations of thousands who queued at Uhuru Park and other places in the country. More than this, there are many people donating and helping to keep the multi-agency intervention seamlessly supported. Cumulatively assessed, you have done astoundingly and wonderfully well. But your achievement goes beyond that. Your effort transcends the sum of individual contribution. It is actually a miracle. Kenya is a nation of wonder workers, and I am proud to be one of you. Truly, deeply, powerfully proud. And we are going to up our game as a nation. And we want them to know that Kenya is ready for them. We will defend the lives and property and the prosperity of the people of Kenya. We have what it takes to make our country safe. And it doesn't matter, because they work for the devil, we work for the living God. And we will defeat them. We will defeat them. It's also instructive to note that it's really unfortunate that the terror gangs believed that maybe they would invade our country when the president was scheduled to leave for the United Nations General Assembly while I was away attending to this case. Yes. We are telling them, shame on them. Yeah. Because this country is going to be safe. And it really doesn't matter what they do. They belong to the past. And their doctrine and religion is primitive and backward. And they have no place in the modern society that Kenya is.